Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Sayyid FAROOQ Hasan and I am back with a new episode of Sky is the Limit. Today we have yet another fine sportsman with us, a very proud Pakistani who has brought laurels for Pakistan. Aurangzeb Mubasher has been honored as the first recipient of the National Color for Horseback Archery by the Pakistan Sports Board. Now, horseback archery is a unique sport, not a very common sport that we hear about every day. So let's hear it from Aurangzeb. How did he get into this horseback archery? What has he done? What is he doing to promote this sport? And how does it feel to get the first ever color by Pakistan Sports Board? Let's meet Aurangzeb Mubasher. Assalamu alaikum, Aurangzeb.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for giving us time.
I'm honored.
Aurangzeb is usually commuting between Canada and Pakistan, and we're going to talk in detail with him and ask him what is he doing in Canada and what other awards has he won. But before going into those details, Aurangzeb, tell me one thing before I go to your basics. Horseback archery, as if horseback riding was not hard enough, you went one step ahead and you said that, okay, I'll do horse riding and I'll do archery also with it. Why?
So there's two things associated to this. One, I've always wanted to do something different. Even at this age, I still tend to do something different. And archery was something that I was doing well before I got into horseback archery.
Okay.
And I've always been a traditional archer. I used to hunt with the traditional bow and arrows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And horseback riding because I was educated at Eastern College and I come from a military background.
Okay.
So that is how
you got your passion for.
My passion came from there. It was actually inculcated into me by my father, who's never been a horse rider, but he always wanted his eldest child
to be a horse rider,
to be a horseman.
And you happened to fulfill that dream.
Exactly.
And when you say at this age, I take an exception to that. You look very young. What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm trying to say that normally you will find horseback archers. Being trained
from
at
a very early age.
Yeah,
but you started off late.
I started off in my late 30s.
Okay, okay, that's
so
that's
just a few years ago.
So another great thing is that there's no age limit for pursuing your passion. You know, as and when you feel you can excel, go for it. Let's go to the basics, Aurangzeb. Where were you born?
Lahore.
Lahore, okay.
And
city of happenings.
Exactly.
Huh?
You know.
And you know, how many siblings are you?
So we are three brothers. I'm the eldest.
Okay.
And I have two younger brothers. One is in the US and one is in Pakistan. He's in Lahore.
So the eldest brother always has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders to be a role model for his younger brothers, teach them, discipline them, and he has to be the most pious guy. Did you follow all those principles?
I don't know.
Or maybe you wouldn't want to talk about it.
No, I'll tell you something. I was very young when I moved to Canada for my education. And when I came back in 2006, I think I stayed with my family for about 13 years before deciding to move back to Canada. So that was the time that I was actually, the eldest brother for both my younger ones. And I was sort of a role model for my younger brother. The youngest one is actually very small, so he's about 13 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was, I used to take him to school, but when I started university, he was actually looked after by my younger brother and my mom, dad. So, I still, even though I was in Canada, I was still, keeping an eye on him from there because he grew up being friends with my friends. So everything that he did, I used to hear about it in Canada.
So it must be influenced, no?
Exactly.
Usually younger ones do that. So which school did you go to?
Eastern College.
Eastern College, yes. Right from nursery?
Class 1 till A-levels.
Till A-levels.
Yes.
And you were a day scholar,
I was.
I presume. And I'm sure, I think Eastern College is one of the most blue-blooded colleges.
Well, one of the prestigious ones in South Asia.
Yeah, and a lot of emphasis on sports as well as education.
Correct.
So you must have been a good sportsman right from childhood.
That's correct. And apparently I only focused on horseback riding since grade 3. And while growing up, that was the only thing that I wanted to do. And by the time I was in grade 8, I had this thought in mind, like people think that, they want to join the army, they want to become doctors.
Yeah.
I wanted to earn laurels for the country by bringing, Pakistan to the international level. I always wanted to wear the green blazer. That was something in my mind.
And in any specific sport, like cricket or hockey or in horse?
No, it was, apparently I wanted to become a horseshoe jumper, but I couldn't because Pakistan doesn't have the facilities to take horseback or to train kids on horseback jumping at the international level. So I had to figure out something that was niche. I did practice and I did work towards becoming an international endurance rider. I did manage to finish 8,000 kilometers on horseback when I was living in Denmark for about 4 years. But that also didn't happen because I wanted to represent Pakistan. And the thing was that Pakistan does not have endurance racing as well. So, eventually...
you had to give in.
I had to give in, But what happened was finally when I decided to move back to Canada in 2018, I got into horseback archery, because I joined the Canadian Federation of Mounted Archers. So I had my feet in both the boats.
Okay.
I was traveling between Canada and Pakistan mostly.
Okay.
And one of the reasons was that I wanted to keep in touch with the authorities in Pakistan while trying to persuade them that,
you wanted to promote the sport.
I wanted to promote the sport. I wanted to persuade the authorities, the sports board in Pakistan, that they have to bring something different in the country. We need to have Pakistan at the international stage taking horseback archery over there. And because there's no one here, I had to do something. So I had to, put my step forward and go into this sport. And, so that's how
I love the blazer that you're wearing, especially with the flag.
Yeah.
Keep it flying high. I have yet to meet horse rider who's never had a fall or who's never broken one of his bones. Did you ever have any serious accidents while pursuing this sport?
Yeah, 4 bones broken, both arms, both shoulders dislocated,
Okay.
left ankle dislocated, left hip joint damaged.
Okay.
Right, I don't know, it's called a femur or something, I don't
Femur.
know. Femur.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right femur.
Okay, broken.
Cracked.
Okay.
And lots and lots of head injuries.
My God.
The worst one that I had was when I rolled over with my horse and I had to be in the hospital for about a week. I was unconscious for 3 days.
This was
bleeding.
in Canada?
No, this was in Pakistan, and this
Okay.
happened in 2002.
Okay.
I was here actually during my summer vacations. I was visiting Pakistan, and I was just practicing stick and ball for polo, and the horse just rolled. And what happened was that I had internal bleeding, and the doctors had to actually pull it out through my ears and my nose, and I was unconscious for 3 days. That was the worst fall that I've ever had.
My God.
Bone breaking is just a part of the sport.
So after having so many injuries, you still managed to pursue yourself and your parents to let you continue in the sport?
My mom was extremely
sure.
against it.
I'm
She
sure.
never wanted me to get back on the horse. I did stay away for about 2.25 to 3 years, and then I got into a phase of depression because the horse is an animal that gives me life, that gives me spirit. It gives me the oxygen to breathe, And it was necessary for me to be near horses. I got into depression for about 6 months when my mom gave up, and she's like, "Okay, fine, just
Go back to your
go back
life.
to whatever you want." Exactly.
So there's no shortcut to a passion, basically. I understand that. Okay, so you got into HSN. Were you a very, very outclass kind of a student, like the top 3, or were you the average, mediocre, or were you the last backbencher?
No, I was a very mediocre student. So
Okay.
out of a student class of 35 students, I was usually about 18th, 19th, 20th.
No peer pressure, no pressure from the family that in those days, like our families used to be after us that you have to be in the top 3 and you have to study.
Extreme pressure from my father.
Okay.
My father always wanted me to join the army,
Okay.
and he wanted me to be outstanding in both my studies as well as sports.
Okay.
I was focusing too much on my horseback riding, and I didn't really put too much effort into
In
my
your studies.
studies. I just wanted to be a good enough student that I could graduate with, with a good grade from university.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened.
And you managed that.
I did manage it.
So, being an average student and getting a color for Pakistan, I'm sure it must be a very elated feeling, a very awesome kind of a feeling. Were you good in extracurricular sports and all during your early school days? Like, were you playing any other sport besides horse riding, or when did you start horse riding?
I started horse riding in grade 3.
Okay.
And I also used to play hockey. But hockey just faded away with time.
And horse riding took
horse riding
precedence.
took the place.
No cricket? I'm surprised.
Never.
Never.
I don't even.
Know the basics?
I don't even know the names of the Pakistani cricketers right now.
Oh, okay.
All I know are good archers, horseback archers, a couple of hockey players because I still love hockey.
So all equestrian sports, basically.
All equestrian sports, basically.
Okay, all right. And then, were you a naughty kid, or were you a very docile, obedient kind of a student?
I was a very docile.
Docile kind of.
Yeah.
Keeping to yourself.
Keeping low profile, keeping to myself.
And your passion for horse riding and horses started because of your school, because it was mandatory that you had to do horse riding?
We had a mandatory, because it was a it was a compulsory one of the compulsory subjects that we had to go through during our early years. So up until class 5, it was mandatory. So before the school assembly, we used to have a 30-hour class.
30-minute class.
30-minute class. But what happened was, when you go into prep school, which is from grade 6 to grade 8 back then, now has changed this educational structure. This was a part of your evening games. So each student was bound to pick up one sport that they used to play after school. It was a 1-hour class, and I chose horseback riding and tent pegging. So that's where...
Tent pegging, again, a very technical and hard sport.
Yes. So I've been a tent pegger for about 32 years now.
32. And did you have good teachers who would teach you this sport? Because it's not a very common sport, that anyone would know.
Correct. So the 4 people that I give credit to where I am today, obviously my mom, then my dad.
For letting you play.
Yeah, for my mom, because my dad was in the army, so he was posted all over Pakistan. And he decided that, the children are going to stay in Lahore, and he never wanted us to become boarders. So he got our mom settled in Lahore, and mom, for like about 10 years, mom used to pick us up in the morning, drop us off in the morning, pick us up in the afternoon, take us back to school for the evening games. And dad, of course, for financing all this and bucking us up all the time through and through, And then one of my teachers, I would really like to name him, Askar Hayat Rai, who was actually my class teacher and my English teacher in class 6 and 7 in HASAN.
Okay.
And last but not the least, Ustad Sher Khan, who was a Risaldar, Fauji, and he was the guy who actually, and he was not my Ustad for a long time. He was there just for about a year and a half, but that year and a half changed my approach towards life, towards equestrian life, and towards achieving a goal when you're passionate about something and you want to make a career out of it, or you want to reach to the maximum heights when it comes to achieving your passion. So Ustad Sher Khan was actually one of those people.
Wow. Growing up, grade 3, you started horse riding, and every student, every kid has a dream, or a dream is ingrained in his mind or her mind, that okay, when you grow up you have to become a doctor, you have to become an engineer, you have to become a pilot, you have to go in the army, or you have to become a computer scientist. Unlike these days, like these days kids are very independent. But did you have any dream or vision, or that okay, when I grow up I have this passion for planes and I want to be a pilot, or I have this passion not to become a doctor, whatever?
Until my O-levels, I wanted to join the army.
You wanted to join the army. Yeah. You were passionate about it.
I was passionate about it.
And your father must have been the guiding
Obviously, he's always been my ideal, ideal and my idol. But what happened was, during my 11th and 12th, my approach towards life changed slightly.
Okay.
And I decided that I wanted to pursue my education and go abroad.
Ah, okay.
And that's when I
And
went to
why
Canada.
and how did that change?
The reason was because I think I started thinking that I want to travel the world. I want to explore things. And if I joined the army, I would have, engulfed myself into a shell where the world was going to close down to me. I wouldn't be able to leave before spending certain years in the army.
And
There were quite some things.
you didn't
that
want to
made
be
me decide.
restricted.
I didn't want to be restricted, and that is the reason. I mean, I'll continue because I served in the federal government for about 12 years before calling it a day, and that is the very reason that I've always considered myself as the flying falcon.
Wow.
Free,
You wanted
wild,
to be free.
strong.
No, and I'm sure, obviously, that is an amazing way to serve your country, being in the forces. But obviously, there are other ways to serve your country also. Like you've gotten the
Correct.
color now, so yeah, somewhere there's this kind of a match.
Yeah.
You did your levels, and then you did your A levels.
Correct.
And by A levels, you said you've decided you wanted to go abroad.
Correct.
Go abroad and do what?
So, like every student back then, you either want to study medicine,
engineering.
or engineering or something. I went to computer sciences. I went into computer sciences, and after the first term, I thought that, this is not my forte. I
So
cannot do
after
it.
A levels, immediately you went abroad?
Correct.
To Canada?
Yes.
Which university?
York.
York University.
Yes.
And you took admission in BS Computers?
Correct.
All right.
After my first term, I figured out that
Computers not your cup of tea.
I'm not good in computers, and it's not my cup of tea, not my slice of cake. So I decided to change my degree program, and I got into administrative studies. And then we had further, careers down there, like fields of study. So I opted for human resources and public policy. So that's what I graduated in.
So going after A levels must be a young age.
I was 17 and a half.
17 and a half. What was your initial reaction, or how did you feel being in a different, strange land, new people, different culture, different nationalities around you? Unlike, if you grow up here in university and school, you have a lot of friends, who come with you right from nursery and all.
So HASAN is an all-boys school.
Yeah, of course. The co-education must have been an attraction.
It was the biggest attraction,
Okay,
and children, especially when they're 17, 18.
Yeah.
The most ripe age, an age where you make or break your life.
Yeah.
I was there, but I remember when I left, my dad gave me a diary, and he wrote a statement in that in Urdu, and he said that, "Mera ghurur kabhi mat todna."
Never break my trust.
Never break my trust, never break my pride. He was proud of the fact that, I'll just go back, that I passed out as the best horseman of HASAN College.
Ah,
Yes.
after your A levels.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You
And,
got school color and all those?
G.
It's
And I wear the HASAN horseback archery, horseback riding color as well. So that was I think probably the thing that actually made
Stuck to
my dad so proud that he actually, he never stopped me from deciding
What to
whatever
do.
I wanted to do in life.
So after computer science, you switched to management,
Correct. Public
Right.
policy and human resource management.
and you graduated.
I graduated with a B+.
Okay, very good. And then, like every other good student, you wanted to do a job.
No, I
Okay.
wanted to do another master's.
Okay. And
I'm sorry, I wanted to do my master's.
okay.
So I did my master's
From
York.
okay, same
Yes.
university.
Yes, I did some courses from University of Toronto as well in public policy,
Yeah.
and then I worked for about a year and a half with Nortel Networks,
Okay.
and then I came back to Pakistan.
Okay.
This was in 2006.
And why and how did you come back to Pakistan? Must be
So-
some motivation.
Dad,
He wanted you to come back.
he didn't want me to come back. I wanted to come back for him.
Okay. Well,
So again, being the eldest child, I just came back, and then
came back with a plan, like you wanted.
I did not have a plan. I actually got a job when I was in Canada. I
Oh,
got a
okay.
job in Pakistan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I started there. I worked with them for about 8 months, and then I, Dad wanted, Dad had that mindset that my son has to be somewhere in the bureaucracy, you know. So I got a chance, and I
You did
applied.
your CSS?
No, I didn't do my CSS, but there are field-specific positions that open up after a few years in the federal government. So I was hired through one of those, job channels. It was a permanent position with the Ministry of Industries, and I worked in 3 different ministries over a course of 12-year period before I called it a day. Because, as I said, I was used to being a, free bird. I just couldn't envision myself in a 9 to 4
Kind of
government position with training myself to become a diplomatic individual. It was getting hard for me, and also the financial aspect, because the way I was raised, I was not being able to fulfill my passion with that salary that I was earning from the government.
Okay.
You know,
But
so
you liked your job?
It was okay. I wouldn't say I was very happy, but it was okay.
It was okay, something to get busy.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also, just making my father happy.
Okay. And you did that for 12 years?
I did that for 12 years.
Wow.
And
Okay.
my dad saw that.
And
he's like, this guy's not happy.
After 12 years, he realized that he's not happy.
So I asked him for permission
Uh-huh.
to leave the service
Okay.
and get back to Canada.
Okay.
And just pursue whatever I want to do.
Okay.
So I just moved back to Canada in 2018.
Okay. And then you were out for 12 years?
I was out for 12 years.
Okay.
But the best part was when I went back, all the friends that I had left back in
They had grown up.
2006, they had become professionals. So for me, settling down again as a professional was not difficult at all.
Okay.
I never did a job when I went back to Canada, like not even a single day. I had a plan when I moved back, and the plan was to buy a piece of land away from the cities and just become a cowboy.
Okay.
I wanted to become a rancher.
Okay.
Just raise my own cattle,
And use it
cows,
commercially to
and use it commercially.
make a
yes.
living. Okay.
Correct. I happened to do that in about a year and a half.
Oh, you managed to get your dream.
I did manage to pull it off.
Okay. And you're a rancher now?
I am a rancher.
Wow. Doing your own stuff.
I do my own stuff. I breed and rehab horses.
Okay.
I raise cattle. I raise goats. And that's what all I do.
And
I'm riding all day long. I'm just selling my animals.
And you
And
get
making a living out
to
of it.
live your dream,
Correct.
Horse riding, and getting all the organic food.
Yes. Yes.
Everything.
I live 100%, and I live on the farm.
Okay.
So just pursuing horseback archery any day, any time
Okay.
is what I do.
And is there good money in this field?
Alhamdulillah, being the only South Asian cowboy in that part of the world, it gave me a massive advantage. It didn't take long before I was known by the Pakistani
Community.
and the Indian community in Canada. So what happened was I used to get direct orders from restaurants and individuals. So what I do is I don't sell wholesale, I just do retail business. So I sell live animals, but on retail prices. That's it. And I have a very specific circle of buyers, who buy quite a lot of animals from me. Eid is one of the occasion when I'm extremely busy out of the entire year.
Okay.
Those 3 days, I just go insane because there are so many orders to fulfill. So I have to hire external help. So they come and then,
You're
they
talking
slaughter
about Eid al-Azha.
Correct.
Eid al-Azha, the big Eid.
Big.
Okay, awesome. So now you have a ranch in Canada,
Correct.
living your dream of horse riding,
Yes.
making this federation here in Pakistan, this
Yes.
association, getting the first color. So all things green for you, going great. How did you manage to enter in the horseback archery in Canada? And what specific steps have you taken to promote the sport in Pakistan? We're going to ask you, but after a short break. Viewers, in a very interesting conversation with Aurangzeb Welcome back to Sky is the Limit. This is Syed FAROOQ Hassan, and I am in conversation with Aurangzeb Mubasher, who has a national color in horseback archery, and he's settled. He's got a business in Canada. He's a rancher, a very unique business again. But I'm not surprised because the sport that he's playing is also very unique. But he is doing a lot to promote that sport in Pakistan for all youngsters, so that it's a very, very constructive and positive, outflow of energy. So I think we have to have more Aurangzeb Mubashers in Pakistan. Aurangzeb, how many competitions have you participated in till now? And in Canada, what have been your achievements? And how did you manage to establish this association in Pakistan?
It's a very long story, but I'll keep it short and simple.
No, we have all the time.
Okay. So what happened was getting into horseback archery was actually a retaliation.
Okay.
It came to me as a retaliation. As I said earlier, that I was doing archery, and I was horseback riding, and obviously ranching and wrangling. Someone in Pakistan started this sport before me.
Okay.
Yes. But as you know, most of the people, majority of people in Pakistan, they tend to keep the knowledge to themselves. They don't spread it.
Yeah.
Insecurities of a certain level that I've never been able to understand. So I approached that gentleman and I asked him that, we should partner up and take Pakistan to, to the international level.
By that time, you had started horseback
I
archery.
was doing it already. But when I say retaliation, going into the international stage, I never had intentions of going to the international stage up until that time.
Yeah.
Because I was still working, I was working on that. The intentions probably would have been there, but after probably a couple of months or a few months. But back then, I approached him and I was like, you know what, we should go together.
We should team up.
We should team up. We should go together and stuff. Initially he agreed, and later on he decided that he's never going to take my calls.
Okay.
And that actually, it made me sad, it made me angry. And what I did was, I thought to myself, okay, fine, if he doesn't want to do that, I think I should do something about it, and I strategized things, and I approached the Canadian Federation of Mounted Archers. I was lucky enough to be awarded the membership. We have about 600 horseback archers in Canada. So what happened was, we have domestic events, national events, every 4 months. I participated in the first two, and I was ranked number 22nd.
In Canada?
In Canada.
Okay.
The third one, I came in the first 10 ranks,
Okay.
and I was asked if I wanted to represent Canada in an international championship that was coming up in Turkey.
Horseback archery.
Correct. And I, of course, why not? I agreed, and I was sent by the federation to Turkey, where out of 128 horseback archers, I was ranked number 47.
Okay.
I went back, and after 2 months, I was asked if I wanted to represent Canada at the World Nomad Games. Now,
Okay.
World Nomad Games are sort of nomadic Olympics. 3,000 athletes from all over the world. It's a massive event spread over 4 days. And this was again happening in Turkey.
Okay.
I was elated.
The success is just coming to you.
Exactly.
Okay.
I couldn't say a no, but somehow or the other, I was so scared that I just refused. But my president, and who's also my coach and my mentor, he called me probably at 2 a.m. in the morning, and he's like, Oz is my nickname. So he's
Okay.
like, Oz, you know what? I think you should go. I was like, give me a reason. He's like, because you're going alone.
Okay.
I'm like, the rest of the team? He's like, no. I want you to go, and the board has decided that you will alone represent Canada at the Nomad Olympics.
Okay.
This is what happened, right on the phone. I started training. I flew 4.5 hours to our headquarters in Whistler, western end of Canada. I stayed there for a week. I got an intense training. I was training about 10 hours a day. And then I went to the Nomad Games or Nomad Olympics in Turkey.
This was which year?
This was 3 years ago,
So 2021.
2021.
Okay.
Yes. And that's where I competed against 28 countries.
Yeah.
We had about 109 horseback archers, and I was ranked. Now, this is again a coincidence that my ranking was close to the previous rankings. I was ranked number 48.
Okay.
Now, here the thing is that I'm competing against the best of the best while having an experience of only 2.5, 3 years.
And
This
that
was
too in
3
a
years
very
ago.
restricted space.
In a very restricted space, in a very niche sport. There are about 40 countries that are practicing this sport right now, and they're coming together. There are 2 international bodies. So anyhow, coming back to our point, so that was my second international championship. The third international championship happened in the US, which were the North American mounted archery sports. So they have horseback shooting, horseback archery, and a couple of other disciplines that are part of those games. So I went there. Not a lot of horseback archers, but still about 85.
Not bad.
Yeah, and I was ranked 28th over there. So yeah, and then the next one, I decided this has to be Pakistan. So I have to represent Pakistan at the next event.
You didn't speak to anyone here in Pakistan?
I'll tell you that because this is what actually I'm gonna speak about. When I went to the Nomad Olympics, I looked at the flags. It was a beautiful sight. Unfortunately, the Pakistan flag was not there.
Canada's flag would be
Canada was there, and I was standing under the Canadian flag. Friends taking pictures, and I was sending them back to my federation and parents and families and friends. And I was also questioned by the Pakistani community in Canada, why are you representing Canada and not Pakistan? Because Pakistan is actually what brought you here.
I'm surprised they understood the sport. It's a unique sport. No?
Exactly, but Pakistanis have this tendency of throwing questions at you.
Yeah.
I did a 10-minute video explaining why I am representing Canada, because before that, I did approach the Equestrian Federation of Pakistan asking for a no objection certificate so I could represent Pakistan, which was refused.
Okay.
It was flat out denied. Reasons are unknown.
Reasons you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
So that was exactly the point when I called my dad from there, and I was teary-eyed because I felt sad, and I was like, Dad, the next time I'm in a country, I want to be wearing a green blazer.
Wow. Your childhood dream.
My childhood dream.
Again.
Correct.
Coming. Okay.
So I approached the Pakistan Sports Board, and as lucky as I could have been, they were very helpful.
Okay.
They asked for all my credentials. They asked me to come to Pakistan.
And you were still in Canada?
I was in Canada. I had done the sport. I went back, and what I did was I spoke to the deputy DG back then. A very, very helpful gentleman. He actually gave me a pathway of how to work around this thing.
Kamran? Who was it? Kamran Ashari?
No. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name right now.
Okay.
But gem of a person. Not because he gave me a pathway, because he gave every sportsman a pathway to achieve something for himself and to bring laurels to the country. You know what? Our javelin thrower?
Yeah,
Arshad Nadeem.
Yeah.
I met him for the first time in his office.
Ah.
And the way he conversed with that gentleman, I felt proud that I'm sitting in front of him being a bureaucrat, supporting someone who's in a niche sport and wants to take Pakistan to the global arena.
Okay.
So from there, the path to getting the green blazer started. And it took about 8 months, all because of the bureaucracy and the red taping in Pakistan.
Okay.
It takes time. Things.
You're still lucky that you got it done.
Exactly. It took me 8 months, and eventually I was awarded the green blazer. And the first championship that I did, and I played in, representing Pakistan, was the World Championship. It's called the IHA World Championship, the International Horseback Archery Alliance World Championship in Mongolia.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So that was last year in September.
Okay.
Mongolia was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Again, competing against the best in the world. Mongolian archers are actually the best. They're Turkish archers and the Mongol archers are the best in the world. They're fast shooters. Their horses run pretty fast. And competing in a country where you have the cream of this sport in the world was again, a proud feeling.
Okay.
And I was again. Now this is the coincidence. I was ranked 47 in that championship.
Okay.
I was proud.
That
I was proud.
It's still an achievement.
Correct.
Yeah.
I was very proud of my performance, of the fluttering Pakistani flag, of me wearing the blazer on my chest, and that's everything. And that is the day, and that was the moment. Actually, I was being interviewed by the Mongol TV over there because Pakistan over there was the newest addition to the horseback archery world.
And you did so well.
And I did well, and I was being interviewed by the Mongol national TV, and that was exactly the moment I realized that I've actually achieved my dream.
Wow. Okay.
So that was it.
Living your dream and achieving it are two different things. Like the very few people who actually manage to collaborate or integrate both. So, Aurangzeb, tell me, what practical steps have you taken to introduce this sport in Pakistan and making the federation and all? What are your future plans on this?
So whatever I've learned in the past 5 years, I want that knowledge to pass on. This is a very niche sport. In Pakistan, everyone talks about cricket. Everyone talks about...
It's a passion, it's a fever, this part of the world.
It's nothing, exactly. Football is, upcoming in Sindh now,
Lyari team,
Lyari is the hub of it.
And the street kids did such a wonderful job.
MMA is another addition to the upcoming
sports.
Kickboxing, all that thing. But, me being into a very, very niche sport, I wanted that, whatever I've learned, I should pass it on to the new generation or to people who are actually interested in pursuing a different sport. And for that, I wanted that we should have an organization, a body that can govern this sport in Pakistan. And that is when I started working towards forming the Pakistan Horse and Mounted Archery Federation. And alhamdulillah, just last week, we received our license from the Security Exchange Commission of Pakistan.
Wow.
And we're in the incorporation stages right now, which is probably going to be done by the end of next week. And then we're going to start up.
Wow. And does Pakistan have a team? Do we have any players right now besides you, yourself?
We do have 4 players. Our number 2 is, I would actually like to name him.
Yeah, sure.
Arshak.
Okay.
Arshak is a very, very hard-working individual. He has done a lot for this sport on his own, with his own finances, and I really want to, bring him with me to the global arena. But for now, what he's doing is he's focusing on developing tracks at in various cities. What I'm doing is I'm talking to owners of different horse riding clubs in Pakistan, because now we have a lot of them. 2 national clubs in Pakistan that are actually, very much into polo. So talks are underway with them. They will be our associated bodies, our affiliated bodies. That is where we're going to start the sport. Right now we have 3 clubs that are actually training children. One is Mariners Saddle Club in Lahore. Then we have the Chandbagh Equestrian Facility in Muridke. And then we have Zaki Farms and Polo Club on Burki Road in Lahore.
They all teach the sport?
So Arshak goes to all 3 locations, and we have tracks over there, we have targets over there, and Arshak is teaching. I travel frequently. I'm in Pakistan every 3 to 4 months for about 15-20 days. I am doing workshops right now. Probably in June, we're going to have a massive workshop in Islamabad. And I think we're doing pretty fine as of now.
That's awesome.
I just want this sport to flourish. Because I wouldn't be able to do this after a few years, and I don't want this to die down. I want it to keep going. And Arshak is, he's an upcoming boy. He's 28 years old, makes his own bows, does his own arrows. Has a very good eye for shooting, and trained well enough. And I want him to lead this organization
Initiative.
after a few years, and I think he'll do pretty good. So then what I'll do is I'll just sit in the back. I'll do the lecturing, the workshops, and I'll get him.
He'll be the face.
He'll be the face. I'll make him take the lead on it and everything, and then he can do that way forward.
And what are the points, or what is the major attraction? Like, if you were to explain the sport to an ordinary person who's never been in this sport before, what are the advantages or what are the pluses of doing this sport or playing this sport?
I'll tell you something very interesting. I was coming back from Mongolia. I had to come to Pakistan, so I stopped in Turkey. And when we're traveling, we are usually in our uniform, and I was stopped by a few Pakistanis and some Indians, just walking around in the terminal. And they approached me from behind and was like, "Excuse me." I turned around, like, "What's horseback archery?" I'm like, "Have you seen that series that's coming on these days? The Turkish series?" They're like, "Oh yeah."
Ertugrul?
Yeah. It's like, that's horseback archery, what they do. They're shooting arrows from
while riding a horse.
From running horses, from the back of running horses. Oh yeah. It's like, so that is it. That is exactly what I do. But I don't shoot at humans. I shoot at targets.
Okay.
I shoot at targets, and that that's when I realized that this is something interesting, and people are actually liking it. So now I run a very small YouTube channel. I do stuff on TikTok. I do small videos while stringing bows. When I buy a new bow, I usually do a 2-minute or a 3-minute video explaining people what this is. And I get such a good response. And over the past, I'd say about a year, a little less than a year, a lot of people have approached the organization, not the organization, but our saddle clubs. Ali Fawad, who is one of the owners of the club in Lahore, approached him. They've approached me through Facebook, through TikTok, through Instagram. I'm pretty viral on Instagram as well.
Very nice.
So people approach me, and especially people in Pakistan. Mothers approach me. A lot of mothers approach me because they want their kids to get into this sport.
Okay.
And I feel happy. And so
it's not a dangerous sport.
It's quite dangerous.
It is.
Correct. Because it's a running horse. You don't have reins in your hands. So you have to have a very strong balance, and you need to understand the animal, because your left hand has the bow, your right hand is pulling the string. It's drawing the arrow. The horse is running in a single direction. You have targets on your left hand. You never know what happens to the horse because it's an animal. Animals have reactions. So you have to be very much in control. You have to be very much in control of the horse. You have to have a solid understanding of the psychology of the horse. And of course, you have to be a very sharp and a speed shooter. Now, when I say sharp, it's because you have to hit the target. A speed shooter means because you have to draw arrows as fast as you can, because you only have about 15 seconds to go to run your horse on a 120-meter track, shooting at 5 targets. So it has to be very fast.
Okay.
And you reach that stage after you've shot about 5,000 arrows from ground.
So you have to have that level of adrenaline in your body.
Correct.
To actually come into
Correct.
the sport.
Your thumb gets damaged. You can see this. This we call this the thumb shelf. So this has gone numb.
Now you're scaring people.
No, it's
it's factual.
you have to get hit by a hard ball while playing cricket to become
every game has its
plus. You're playing hockey. Your legs aren't safe. Doesn't matter how much padding you're wearing.
Yeah, that's true. And so as compared to other sports like cricket and hockey and football, this must be an expensive sport, like maintaining a horse, the equipment, practice, training and all. What do you say?
So what I say is it's not as expensive as tent pegging. It's not as expensive as polo. I'd say it's probably the least expensive, because in tent pegging you have to have at least 2 or 3 horses, because it's like a very fast sport. The horses have to run again and again and again. So for horseback archery, one horse is good enough. And the best part is it can be any horse that just has a decent stride, decent pace, not too fast, not too slow. And those horses are easily available, because when we go to international competitions, the horses we get are provided to us by the host country. We don't travel with our horses.
You don't travel with the horses?
No.
Okay. So it's not that you only have to have, like, you have a lucky bat, while if you are in cricket,
No.
you have to have one hockey stick with which you play. So
Not
it's
at
not
all.
one horse.
Not at all.
You should be proficient and all. So how do you manage to get that rapport with the horse? As you said, you have to know the animal.
So you get 1 day
Okay.
before the tournament.
To make friends.
Correct.
Okay.
So you know the horse, but the thing is, if you don't like the horse or the chemistry is not good, you tell the
Organizer.
the organizing authority, and then they change the horse for you. So you have a choice between two horses. You can change the horse, but here is the thing: if you change a horse, you're not allowed to go back to the first one if the first one was better. Now you're sticking to the second horse.
So you don't get that many options.
No, so that is the reason that I say that you have to understand the psychology of the animal, because all horses have the same psychology.
I understand.
You know,
Okay,
that's
great. That's awesome. And what are your future plans? Like, what are the upcoming competitions or tournaments that you want to attend, and how do you see yourself going forward in this sport?
So the World Nomad Games are held every 2 years. The last one, as I told you, were in Turkey. The next one is going to happen in Kazakhstan,
Okay.
September of 2024.
Oh, okay, this year.
Yes.
You're going to
So,
attend that.
Correct. Me and Ashok, we are going as the athletes, the official athletes from Pakistan. Ali is going to be our official, our team manager. And inshallah, Pakistani horseback archery team is going to be present at the World Nomad Games for the first time ever in the history of the sport.
Wow. So I think one thing that I've picked up from the sport that I've never played it, of course, is that you don't have to be proficient only in horse riding, but you have to be proficient and a very sharp shooter also with the archery, bow and archery.
Correct.
Right? Because
the
you have to
horse
hit the
is-
target.
Correct.
And running target.
Yes, because the horse is running at an average speed of about 60 kilometers an hour.
So you have to manage within that
Yes.
speed. So that means that even if you enter the sport of archery alone itself, you'd be probably able to score well.
I will be. So now we have three different types of archeries. We have the compound archers, which are the Olympic archers. We have the recurve Olympic archers, and then we have the traditional archers. So the difference between traditional archery and Olympic archery is that Olympic archers, they have a trigger in their hand. When they draw the bow, they can hold it for even 10 minutes. But what happens is when a traditional archer draws the arrow, we have to let it go within the first 2 seconds.
You don't have time to
We don't
adjust
have-
yourself.
No, and it all depends on the weight, the draw weight of the bow, because there's international competitions. We have bows with a draw weight of about 35 pounds up to 65 pounds. So that means that when you draw a 31-inch arrow at 30 inches, you're actually pulling a force of 65 pounds,
My God. And split second timing.
and it's a split-second timing.
You don't have no second chances.
No, and you have to shoot at least 3 arrows in 120
Very,
meter
very
run.
technical and professional sport, I must say. And Aurangzeb, so proud of you
Thank you
that
so
you're
much.
bringing. I'm sure you're going to bring more medals and honors for Pakistan. I wish to see you rising in this sport and also promoting the sport more in Pakistan. So we have more youngsters. It's a very constructive sport for that matter. Any message that you'd like to give to the youngsters of Pakistan or all our viewers who are watching you right now?
So,
And by the way, there will be a lot of viewership in Canada also.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So what I want to tell the youth is that, or for that matter, any person
viewer.
who wants to do something in life or achieve their dream, you have to be very passionate about what you're trying to do. Achieving your dream does not come without being passionate about it. It doesn't matter if you want to become a livestock farmer. You can become a very successful livestock farmer only if you're passionate about livestock. So make your way through it. Strategize life in a way that you can achieve that target. And when I say strategize, it doesn't mean that you have to strategize in terms of finances. It's never that. You have to strategize things when it comes to your family, your social life. You know, bringing the best in you. How can you do that? You know, and that is only when you can actually achieve your dreams and, you know, live through them exactly the way I'm doing.
Wow, awesome, lovely message. I think the gist that I caught was that you need to believe in yourself, and whatever you believe in, whatever your passion is, you know, you'll be able to achieve it, provided you give it your full you know, focus and sincerity for that matter.
Correct.
Thank you very much, Aurangzeb. It was a pleasure talking to you. We have paucity of time. I would love to continue this talk, but you know, the program has to end. But I hope to see you again, you know, with more medals under your belt, and wishing you all the best to bring more medals for Pakistan. Viewers, with this we come to the end of this program of Sky is the Limit. Inshallah, I will see you with another guest in a new episode. Till then, Allah Hafiz.